This is Sundry News for Monday, July 20th. We begin now with the Daily Shapiro from this evening. Federal judge's son and husband shot at home. Judge was assigned to Epstein Deutsche Bank case last week. And apparently it really was an assassin dressed as a postal service worker, I think. Postal worker. Yeah. Why didn't they shoot the judge, I wonder? Was she just not there? We warned them. Dallas police chief had nearly 700 protesters taken into custody for blocking highway. And yeah, so first reaction is, hey, good, finally do something. But then the second reaction is, I wonder how long it is until they're just released without bail, without requiring bail, without charges, without even any fines. I mean, hey, maybe that won't happen this time, but I don't hold out much hope. Thousands to walk off jobs in strike for Black lives. Okay. Make room for all the currently unemployed people who actually want to work. Do that then. Watch. Black Marine vet holding American flag rips protesters. None of you guys represent Black lives. Excellent. The Associated Press says it will capitalize black but not white. That's not surprising. I mean, that's what's happening. Yahoo does it. ExpressVPN. Protect your online privacy. And watch The Ben Shapiro Show. Or listen, because it's also a podcast. Do I want to look at this? Not really. I'm sure I'll learn more as time goes on. Next up is the Daily Wire. Watch Portland rioters overwhelm cops, torch police union headquarters. Oh, but they don't want the federal government's help. They can't seem to keep control on their own, but by all means, they don't want help. Pathetic. Petition calls on Trader Joe's grocery stores to change racist ethnic product names. I wouldn't know what those are since I've never shopped at Trader Joe's at all, but I'm sure it's probably utter bullshit. Ghislaine or whatever, Maxwell, thinks Epstein was murdered in jail, fears same fate. Yeah, that's what everybody's fucking saying. Watch, Black woman pours paint over BLM street art. All lives matter. We're taking our country back. Refund the police. Which obviously, of course, means the opposite of defund the police. As in, don't take all their money away. Give all their money back. Get them back to work. Let them do their jobs. And she didn't just do this once, by the way. She did it. She got arrested. She got out because of, bail reform, where they're letting out nonviolent offenders without making them pay any money, since they are technically innocent until proven guilty. And this is like the only good time, the only time that has been a good thing. And then she proceeded to do it like 3 more times, I think. So yeah, good for her. Trump, after clashing with Chris Wallace over COVID fatality numbers, #1 low mortality rate. #1 low mortality rate. What does that mean? What does that mean? Excuse me. On Sunday, Fox News aired a pre-taped interview with President Donald Trump. At the beginning of the interview, anchor Chris Wallace asked the president about the ongoing COVID-19 panic. Let's start with the surge of the coronavirus across the country in recent months. You still talk about it as burning embers, but I want to put up a chart that shows where we are with the illness over the last 4 months, Wallace said. What the fuck, Fox News? Why are you fear-mongering? The anchor then displayed a chart showing a peak in April of 36,000 cases a day, then contrasted that with a new peak of 75,000 cases one day this week. Trump countered, claiming that the apparent increase in cases is due to great testing. That's part of it, as well as inflated counting. If we didn't test, you wouldn't be able to show that chart, Trump stated. If we tested half as much, those numbers would be down. Exactly. Following a back and forth about the panic being burning embers or a forest fire, the president pointed to other countries where the virus is wreaking havoc. It's not just this country, it's many countries. We don't talk about it in the news. They don't talk about Mexico and Brazil and still parts of Europe, which actually got hit sooner than us, so it's a little ahead of us in that sense, Trump noted. But you take a look. Why don't they talk about Mexico, which is not helping us? And all I can say is thank God I built most of the wall, because if I didn't have the wall up, we would have a much bigger problem with Mexico. Yeah, well, get the rest up, okay? Because we're still having a problem with Mexico. There are cases daily pouring over the border, filling up the border hospitals. Wallace then brought up to Trump that the United States has the 7th highest mortality rate in the world, higher than Brazil, it's higher than Russia, and the European Union has us on a travel ban. The president countered, reminding Wallace that the United States had Europe on a travel ban. He then seemed to suggest that the mortality rates offered by Wallace were incorrect. Trump: when you talk about mortality rates, I think it's the opposite. I think we have one of the lowest mortality rates. Wallace: that's not true, sir. Trump: well, we're going to take a look. Wallace: we had 900 deaths in a single day. Trump: we will take a look. Ready? After asking for the mortality rate document, the president said, I heard we have one of the lowest, maybe the lowest mortality rate anywhere in the world. Do you have the numbers, please? Because I heard we have the best mortality rate. Number 1 low mortality rate, Trump said, after he was handed a piece of paper. I hope you show this scenario. I hope you show this because it shows what fake news is all about. I don't know why they had to insert scenario there. Following crosstalk, Wallace jumped in via video voiceover to explain the different numbers. While Fox News was using the Johns Hopkins University data, Team Trump was using a chart from the European CDC, which shows Italy and Spain doing worse, but countries like Brazil and South Korea doing better. Other countries doing better, like Russia, aren't included in the White House chart, according to Wallace. Okay. According to Johns Hopkins, the United States ranks 8th in the world in COVID-19 mortality. Brazil has apparently moved ahead of the U.S. since the interview was taped. Are they taking size into account? Because 8th in the world were pretty big. So 8th in the world puts all the other big countries ahead of us, most likely. The observed case fatality ratio, meaning that the number of deaths per 100 confirmed cases in the United States, stands at 3.8% as of publication, according to Johns Hopkins. As for deaths per 100,000 population, this represents a country's general population with both confirmed cases and healthy people. The United States ranks 3rd behind the UK and Chile. The chart showed by Fox News as the one being used by the Trump administration comes from Our World in Data, and it tracks the case fatality rate. The map allows one to choose which countries to display. One World in Data notes raw data on confirmed cases and deaths for all countries is sourced from the European Center for Disease Prevention and Control, ECDC. Looking at the chart from OWID, One World in Data, in a worst to best view of case fatality, the United States sits at 3.82% as of July 18th. Countries with worse CFRs, that was case fatality rates. Countries with worse case fatality rates, according to the chart, include France, UK, Belgium, Italy, Canada, Sweden, and Mexico, among others. Countries with better CFRs include Austria, Norway, South Korea, New Zealand, and Taiwan, among others. So very small countries. Countries that could all fit inside the United States. Oh, that's it. Number 1, low mortality rate. Okay, so not exactly number one, but the man's been known to exaggerate. It's his way. There's some ads. Blah, blah, blah.